AITA for confronting my abusive family and choosing my husband over their manipulation? I, 34F, have been married to my husband, 35M, for a few months, but we've been together for 6 years. My parents asked us to move into their home 2 years ago to help them out since my dad is medically disabled. We agreed because it would allow us to save up for a house. When I was 19, my father had a brain tumor at the same time his mother was in the hospital. My mom spent all her time at the hospital with my grandma. So I decided to take 2 years off from college and put in a leave of absence from my job to take care of my dad and younger brother. Fast forward to when I met my now husband at work, we hit it off right away. He took it upon himself to take my father to appointments and fix things around the house for them. After we moved in, my husband worked tirelessly to help my parents. Every day, after working 10-hour shifts, he would repair things in the house. He fixed the dryer 6 times, repaired the HVAC system, despite not being an HVAC technician, and spent his personal time learning the basics so we would have working heat. Anything my parents needed, he did for them. Now, we've been married for a few months and have been looking for a home. However, my mother has been rude and passive-aggressive toward my husband since our wedding. I was emotionally abused by my mom and taught to hate my father because he was always working. My mom would tell me not to bother him because he had no time for me. She once broke an easel over my head when I was 6 because I wouldn't let her play with my new Barbie. My mother has always been toxic, but I was gaslit by family and friends into believing everything was my fault. My brother Carl, on the other hand, has stolen thousands of dollars from my parents, gotten addicted to hard drugs, and threatened to harm all of us multiple times. Despite this, he's the golden child and can do no wrong. I've always resented my parents for this but was made to feel like my feelings were invalid and stupid. My husband and I have put a lot of money into fixing my parents' house without asking for anything in return. Despite our efforts, my parents have been ungrateful for everything we've done. Recently, my therapist told me that to be healthy for myself and my husband, I needed to confront my parents about the trauma I've endured. When I finally did, my parents claimed my husband was brainwashing me. They dismissed everything, saying, "There was never an issue, so why are you speaking up now?" I explained that my therapist encouraged me to work on healthier relationships with my family, but they refused to listen. My husband and I received many wedding gifts, which my parents told us to store in a room no one uses. Recently, they started complaining about the gifts and told us to figure out storage. So we bought a small shed from Sam's Club to store our belongings. This set my mother off. She screamed at my husband, accusing him of doing nothing in the house and claiming we were selfish for doing whatever we wanted. She demanded we leave her house immediately. When I told her we needed time to find a place to go, she charged at my husband and tried to punch him in the face. My father stopped her, but they called the police. When the police arrived, they sympathized with us, saying we hadn't done anything wrong. However, they placed a temporary restraining order on my husband and claimed I needed to be evaluated for brainwashing and Stockholm Syndrome. All of this over a shed. The police later told me I didn't have to leave, but my husband had to temporarily stay elsewhere. So we packed our things, took our dog, and left for a hotel. I've been receiving messages from family members calling me an ungrateful asshole for putting my parents through hell. For my own mental health, I've decided to cut off all toxic family members. My husband and I don't deserve this treatment, and I'm choosing to prioritize our well-being over their toxicity.